Hey, what's good? It's your boy, Mixtape Moth, and today I'm going to hit y'all with a review of the new compilation album from Khrysis entitled The Hour of Khrysis. Let's get to it. Alright, so Khrysis is a producer coming out of North Carolina. He is one half of the duo The Away Team and an in-house producer for the Soul Council alongside Ninth Wonder. Now, Khrysis has been on the boards doing his thing since about 2003, producing for a variety of artists. Some notable ones include Sean Price, Conway, Rhapsody, Master Ace, Cormega, Elzai, and Little Brother. So this new project, The Hour of Khrysis, is his sixth studio album. It's a compilation in which he provides all of the beats and occasionally raps. There are a total of 14 songs. And this project lasts approximately 45 minutes in length. But with that being said, let me go ahead and give y'all this track by track breakdown. The opener, Never Change, is a Khrysis solo. So as a rapper, he's all right. Obviously, his strengths lie in producing, but that's a given. Yeah, I gotta keep it a buck. I didn't really come away with any quotable verses from Khrysis on here, but this particular track had a really crunchy and gritty beat with what sounds like bongos and a guitar. This is an instrumental that I feel would have benefited from having other MCs on it. I feel it just would have made it more potent. Track 2 is Granted, featuring Moo Fresh. So this is an R&B record with a dope beat. I was getting some Salam Remy vibes from this production. However, I did not like the placement of an R&B song so early in the track list. I'm not saying this is bad or that Moo Fresh can't sing. It's just not a favorite for me, and I think it would have profited from being included in the second half of the album. Just my take. Following is Delta 9 featuring Khrysis and Geechee Suede from Camp Low. The two essentially talk about getting lifted over an atmospheric boom bap beat. It's a 420 friendly record. It's not bad, but it really didn't stand out to me, although, I guess it was cool to hear one half of Camp Low on the mic. Track 4 is Mr. Big Mouth Part 2 by De La Soul. I feel it's been a while since we've heard these legends, so I was glad they were on this compilation, although I do believe this is an older track, but I could be wrong. This record has some fun and feel-good lyrics from De La Soul. They are talking about having a system that bumps and how it's important for your shit to crack the pavement when you pull up. The bass gotta be knocking. Now, I did like the vocal sample on the hook as well as the playful boom bap production. To be honest, this was the first track that really resonated with me so far. Next is The Return featuring Sean Boog of The Away Team. Now, this track is pretty much about the reuniting of Khrysis and Sean Boog as The Away Team. I did enjoy the sentimental piano loop. This just has that smooth and nostalgic boom bap flair. I also like the vocal sample of Fat Joe saying yeah, as well as one from KRS-One. They are subtle samples, but if you listen closely, you can detect them. Now, I gotta keep it a stack. I'm not too familiar with the Away Team as a duo, but I'm sure fans will be pleased that Sean Boog and Khrysis are back in the lab cooking up. Right after is Why by Problem, set to a harmonizing vocal lead. It's very smooth and polished production. I think Problem floats on this instrumental. His delivery and cadence is just so uniquely LA sounding. Problem questions the unwarranted hate that he feels he receives. He asks, is it because I'd rather get paid than shoot at you, declare war, and send them troops at you? Or is it because I'm older and rather look over bank statements than over your shoulders? So you can sense some maturity and wisdom in his words and mindset. But yeah, I feel this was one of the stronger cuts from the album. Immediately after is Asylum by Evidence. This one sounds different sonically due to the heavy synth production. It's an eerie soundscape, but I liked Hearing Crisis utilize this particular sound as I think it added more flavor to the production, and Evidence had a decent verse, so it was a cool track. Song 8 is Colombian Necktie by Nico Is. He's spitting some solid wordplay on top of this whimsical boom bap beat. I don't really have a feel for this track one way or the other. It's just kind of cool, I guess. What follows is The Code by Bronx veteran rapper Chi Ali, who is now home after having been incarcerated for over a decade. But I really enjoy the ultra smooth and soulful backdrop from Khrysis. Chi Ali raps about being fresh out the Bing and all the challenges he faces adjusting to the new world. Everybody chain hang, G's they gang bang. Me, fresh out the pen, I'm just trying to maintain and get this squap up without getting locked up. Shit, it's kind of crazy, all these obstacles pop up. So he's speaking on some heartfelt and relatable themes on this one, even though he does plan to stay on the straight and narrow. He can't help but want to follow the code of the streets. The subsequent track is The Devil Wears Designer by Ruben Vincent and Ian Kelly. Now, Ruben Vincent is a younger artist signed to the Jamla label with the Soul Council. He has some decent storytelling on this track. The beat is very soulful and triumphant with a bass line that sounds like it borrows from the stylistics People Make the World Go Round, so it could kind of pass as a Little Brother style beat, but I thought this was a solid record overall. Next is easily my favorite track, Negro Spiritual. This features verses from Khrysis, Pharoah Monch, and Busta Rhymes. Pharoah Monch comes through with the lyrical gymnastics as expected. You get some mind-bending bars from him, and Busta Rhymes also kills it with his fiery flow. From the rhythmic drums to the enthralling vocal sample, this beat is truly stand out. I even thought Khrysis sort of held his own on the mic while standing next to these two lyrical titans. This one is hands down the dopest song on the album. Afterwards is another highlight entitled The Disrespect. This features two of the most sought out female MCs in the game, Rhapsody and Sa-Roc. Now, in my opinion, Shay Noor is just as nice as these two ladies, but just wanted to point that out. This has a hypnotic beat with some soulful crooning and scratching. Now on here, Rhapsody and Sa-Roc speak on the disrespect they experience being women in a male-dominated industry. Rhapsody drops some clever bars. They all read me wrong like they live where the Crips at, and my shit booms sitting in rooms manifest in plaques. My back on the wall. I still feel like I'm Michael Jackson. Sa-Roc raps, see I played coy for far too long. Now I'm talking my shit, and yet they overlook how deep my sonic overtures get. So this was a dope track with sleek production, sharp wordplay, and cunning bars. The penultimate track is Keep Walking On by Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Now I gotta be honest, I haven't heard his music in years, but I do remember enjoying the Deltron 3030 album back in 2000. I thought that was a pretty dope but experimental project. So it was cool for me to hear him again. On this record, Del dropped some OG-like wisdom and motivational bars on top of this minimalist boom bap groove. It's a solid track without a doubt. The album then wraps up with Be All Right by Khrysis featuring Heather Victoria. It's an inspirational and uplifting track set to a soulful and gospel influenced beat. Overall, I give this project a rating of 3.5 mics. As far as producer compilations go, I feel this was very consistent and cohesive. The tracks bled pretty seamlessly into one another, and I feel this was possible because of the brief instrumental interludes that Khrysis had provided in between each song. This felt very Pete Rock inspired to me, as I feel Pete Rock instantly comes to mind as a producer who was skilled at putting those fly little instrumental snippets at the end of songs. I feel the production is really the selling point for this album because I gotta be honest, Khrysis's rhymes didn't really blow me away, and he was featured on a lot of songs. Also, some of these MCs were good and had solid verses, but they aren't artists who I would normally be too interested in listening to. Artists like Ruben Vincent, Moo Moo Fresh, Sean Boog, and Nico Id. Now, This is no shade to those folks because they can definitely rhyme, but I was interested in more so the artists of the caliber of De La Soul, Busta Rhymes, Pharoah Monch, Rhapsody, and Sa-Roc. I'm not putting Problem into that aforementioned lyrical category, but I thought he was an interesting feature as his voice really stands out to me. But I can see fans of the Soul Council sound really gravitating towards this release. Now, I gotta be honest, while I do like the Soul Council, I was never as huge into their sound as some people, but I always respected their soulful and pure brand of hip hop. At the end of the day, Khrysis does succeed in demonstrating why he's such an underrated and consistent producer in the game. My favorite tracks include Mr. Big Mouth Part 2, Why, Negro Spiritual, The Disrespect, and Keep Walking On. Let me know what you thought about this project in the comment section below. It's your boy, Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Khrysis, the Hour of Khrysis, 1.